Meet me. Welcome back, boys. Today we have a super fun video. We're gonna watch the patch preview together where all the ReZero Heroes are revealed, new 3-star units, ML Charles, the new ambitious season frames, just a ton of stuff to go over, but there's gonna be a ton of hero previews here. And I actually haven't seen this video yet. It's pretty early in the morning. I think the actual stream was only like 2 hours ago. So let's look at all these heroes together. I'm assuming these three are the ones that are picked, but maybe the main character is like a 3-star or something like I predicted. So first, let's look at this. Looks like the girl from the anime. Pretty good. I've actually watched a few episodes of this already. I'm trying to catch up on the anime. I might do a video like ReZero for Epic 7 players or something, but I need to finish it. So she is an Ice Soul Weaver. I guess that makes sense. I honestly thought she was going to be an Ice Mage because in the show she like attacks people with ice a lot, but I guess she can also heal people because she heals the idiot main character guy all the time. Base stats. Looks like she has pretty high effect resist, not very fast, basic Soul Weaver stats. Alright, let's look at her S3. Uses spiritual arts to dispel 2 debuffs from all allies before recovering health and granting a barrier for 2 turns. Scales to her max health, 4-turn cooldown. Nothing super unique here, right? It's basically just a basic AoE heal. Now it cleanses 2 debuffs instead of dispelling all debuffs. I'm almost thinking of this like a Destina S3 that cleanses less but grants a barrier. Let's look at the animation though. Did she do it? Oh, I'm clicking at the wrong thing. There we go. Okay, honestly, that looks pretty cool. Alright, let's look at her skill 2. Grants a blessing to an ally except for the caster, dispelling 2 debuffs and increasing attack for 2 turns before increasing combat readiness by 40%, or I guess 50% with Molas. And also CR pushes herself by 20%. So she can kind of be like an offensive Soul Weaver. Now, it's an attack buff on only one unit, but that's okay, because like DN will give it to her whole team, but again, like if you're running with knights and stuff, does it matter if your knights get attack buff? A little bit, but not that much. So let's see the example here. S10 gets pushed up, has attack buff. It's actually pretty good. 50% CR push is pretty damn huge, actually. So that might be interesting. And she's water. I feel like she's kind of meant to deal with Carrot, right? If you could tune her to be slower than Carrot, you'll still get that. One person will still get detonated, but you could cleanse out the burns. Maybe. And she's water. Huma. Isn't this the maid chick skill? Does Amelia also use it? Or Huma attacks the enemy with ice before recovering health. Okay, so basic Soul Weaver skill. Nothing special about that. Let's look at our artifact. Increase effect resistance by 15%. When an ally's health is 50% or less after being attacked, recovers health of the ally by 20%. Can only be activated once per turn. So it's almost like Water's origin in a way, but not really. Actually, I guess it's not really that. This might actually be pretty good, because 20% is a really big heal, actually. Amount recovered increases proportional to the ally's max health. I don't really understand what that means, because 20% seems pretty clear. I guess it's just trying to explain that the percentages of your max health. I don't really know. This artifact might not be that bad. Basically, it's a Soul Weaver too, so you can keep getting over 50% and then repeatedly practice every time you go under. This might actually end up being a very good artifact, but you know, Water's Origin I still am a big fan of because of the CR push in it. But if you're just going for survivability, this might be actually very nice. We'll see. Alright, I'm guessing one of the maid girls is next, so let's go look at one of them. This video is so long that it's hard to like fine-tune where to go on the video meter. Okay, so there we go. Rem, everyone's favorite hero apparently. Again, looks like the anime. Ice Warrior. I guess that makes sense. Very high attack and health among warriors, kind of slow. Ooh, self-crit chance imprint, so you whales out there are probably going to want to pull dupes of her to triple S, assuming that she's good. Let's check out her skills. S3, I will punish you. Increases attack of the caster for 3 turns before leaping up to attack all enemies and decrease hit chance for 2 turns. Increases CR of herself by 50. This looks pretty crazy. Self-attack buff before she attacks, so kind of like Pavel. Okay, let's take a look at the actual skill. Don't skip it. There we go. Yep, the attack buff comes first. Whoa! Wait a minute, let's look at that damage again. Oh, it's so hard to click with all these things. Whatever. Let's move on. So, looks pretty good. A Maid's Pride. When somebody dies, dispels all debuffs from the caster and grants demon mode. Okay, so like she has a horn in the anime or something and she can get really jacked. So I guess they're copying that. Can only be activated every 5 turns, so long ass cooldown. When an ally except the caster is attacked, has a 15% chance to counterattack with Iron Strike. Iron Strike takes priority over a counterattack with a basic skill. Demon Mode. Immune to debuffs, that's amazing. Ignores effect resistance when attacking. This effect only applies to hero skills. Demon Mode cannot be dispelled. Iron Strike attacks all enemies, decreasing buff durations by 1 turn, so a full team, 1 buff, like a pseudo strip basically, and making them unhealable for 1 turn. This is pretty crazy. Grants Demon Mode. I'm not sure if this counterattack part is part of her demon mode or not. It's fine if it is. If it isn't, it's even better. She has a built-in Elbrus, basically. Now, the problem with the skill, it's not really a problem, but a component of this skill is that it will kind of incentivize them to tunnel Rem first. But I guess if you build her a little bit bruisery and tanky, that's okay. Maybe even put her on counter set. Because if you kill someone that isn't her, she's going to go berserk. Let's see this thing in action. So she's in demon mode now? This is just her S3 again, right? But I guess it's just showing that she ignores effect resistance or blind. So there we go. Now they're going to show it, I guess. So this is going to be her countering with Iron Strike. Oh, actually it hits pretty good too. Huh. Alright, her S1 attacks with the Morning Star with a 35% chance to decrease defense for 2 turns. When the caster is granted Demon Mode, grants the caster an extra attack. Whoa! That's crazy, and Soulburn is 100%, so think about this. She ignores effect resistance when she's in demon mode, so she's gonna have a 100% chance to defense break with the Soulburn and then get a second attack. So, I mean, the thing about the demon mode though is that she has to have someone on her team die, right? But that might synergize very well with certain heroes like Maid Chloe, where your team is dying a lot and she's just going berserk all the time. I actually like her kit a lot. I think she's going to be a very fun hero. Her artifact, increase crit chance by 15%. When somebody dies, increase the CR by 24%. Can only be activated once per turn. I don't like this artifact at all. I don't even know why they need to specify can only be activated once per turn. I think the condition of somebody dying is pretty strict. Oh, wait, no. It's anybody dying. Sorry, I misread that as someone on her team dies. Okay, so it's basically like the warrior version of, shoot. I forgot the name of that ranger artifact. Um, but yeah, actually, it's not that bad. There's a cleaving warrior that might be pretty good. I wonder if people put it on, I don't know, Cleave Stray Z or something. Oh, Shasha Ithanes, that's what it's called. Okay, let's move on to the next ReZero hero. I'm guessing it's red-haired girl. So much talking. All right, there we go. Rem Sister. Her parents were not very creative, gave them all the same names. Okay, Earth Mage. I thought she'd be fire, because of her hair. Whatever. So effectiveness, so I'm guessing is some kind of debuff hero. Still not that fast. 106 speed. Okay, let's look at this. It starts off with her S2. Did I skip it? No, I didn't. What are you looking at? Increase attack by 30%, reduce the effect of decreased combat readiness debuffs by 80%. So it's kind of like second part's like the Broman passive, right? She can't be CR pushbacked at all. Not particularly interesting. Okay. Elfura attacks the enemy with a gust of wind, decreasing defense for 2 turns, and grants increased attack greater to the caster for 2 turns. But there's no strip on it or anything, interestingly. Oh, what's happening here? Video's buffering. Well, that seemed to do a decent amount of damage, though. Let's look at that again. How much did it hit him for? 94,000? Huh. I don't know. The skill itself looks pretty basic, but I guess we'll find out what the multipliers are. She was hitting a boss with that. I wonder how it works in practice in PvP. Skill 1, how boring. That's the name of the skill, that's not what I'm saying. Attacks the enemy with wind with a 60% chance to decrease attack for 1 turn. When the caster is buffed, so basically a 100% chance. Oh, it's sorry there. It's a AoE S1 again, so and she's a mage, so another Abyssal Crown user just spamming them with this move. Let's see what this looks like because it's kind of a unique S1. But it's only on the soul burn, right? Am I reading that right? Yeah, you have to soul burn it for it to attack all enemies, so never mind. I mean, you can still put her on Abyssal, but you're gonna need souls to do it. So okay, honestly, my first impression of Ram is I don't really see myself using her unless that S3 hits so hard with insane multis. But I can't imagine it'd be higher than something like Ludwig's, and most people still don't even use Ludwig. So I don't really understand it. Maybe a good PvE hero. In PvP, you're gonna have to pair her with a strip or build her slow. So I don't know. My impression are like out of the three, I think Rem's my favorite so far, then Amelia, and I think this is my least favorite. So what other let's look at our artifact. Mage increased attack by 15%. Maybe it is a PvE hero because her artifact is clearly PvE. It doesn't do anything for PvP. It's like damage mitigation from bosses, which obviously doesn't matter for World Arena. So there's Ram. And what's the next ReZero hero? There isn't any. Oh, Subaru. They did Subaru dirty. I thought he was going to be like a free dark unit because in the show when I watch it, they actually have elements in the game in the show, and the cat thing is tells Subaru that he's a dark unit. So I thought they'd make him a dark unit, but I guess it makes sense because he sucks. Maybe they couldn't think of any animation to give him. Although I think later on he gets this ability to sprout hands from him, so I guess they could have done that, but I guess he does kind of suck in the show, so I guess it makes sense they didn't want a sucky character to make it through. Alright, so this stuff doesn't matter, just more events. We're not going to talk about every single one of these heroes. Let's just go over them quick. I gotta say, the artwork's pretty cool. Like, some of these could have been like 5-star heroes, I feel like. But, the reality is, whenever they release 3-star heroes, we get hyped about it, but in practice, no one ever really uses them at the high tier. So let's just look at their skills real quick. Melanie, it's like whatever. If they get specialty changes eventually, maybe they'll be good. But in general, the same problem with all 3 stars applies. Um, they just have too low base stats. This is kind of interesting, though. This 3-star unit has an ability that no one else has. I've never heard of Stigma before. Decreases healing and CR pushes. Let's just scan through these real quick. Camilla grants skill nullifier, attacks the enemy, and when they blah blah blah. Well, it looks like I'm sure some of them will have fun, interesting kits, but in practice, I feel like they're all just gonna suck anyway, so I'm not gonna focus on these. But if you're interested, go ahead and watch this video on your own. I don't want to make this video too long and talk about heroes that I think won't even show up in the meta. Ooh, new exclusive equipment. Now that we will talk about. So Shu, uh, kind of a laughable hero at this point, but maybe this exclusive equipment will actually help her. So, first one, when critical hit is made with Chop, has a 40% chance to activate Whoosh. That's actually pretty big. Like, that's a lot of damage she can do when that procs. Damage dealt increased by 20%. That's pretty big too. And Help Me Cream grants immunity to all allies. That's a huge buff to a skill. Like, basically, it's the same skill with a team-wide 2-turn immunity. That completely changes the skill. So, I think these are significant. This is like the proper way to do, because exclusive equipments are supposed to be a way to easily buff an underutilized unit, right? Sometimes I feel like exclusive equipments will release them and they don't really change the underlying weaknesses of the character. This, I think, really improves Shu. I think this is an exclusive equipment that's properly done. The S11 is great, the S31 is great. Even this one isn't bad. I just think the other two are better. All right, let's. So maybe we'll start seeing shoes in RTA now. I'm pretty impressed with those. E-cart effectiveness. Battle Frenzy increases evasion chance by additional 5%. That's pretty crazy. I feel like that's a front runner already. After successfully evading, increases combat readiness of all allies except the caster by 10%. That's pretty good too. If he almost becomes G Purge, right? Because he's guaranteed to evade the first hit on his first turn, and it doesn't say there's a cooldown on it. So if they have a lot of AOE's and they keep missing Acre, like granted, it's not going to be reliable except for the first hit because he always dodges the first one. Some people might opt for this as well. As for the S3, I can't imagine anyone would go for that. Most people, if they draft a card at all, which is pretty rare to begin with, it's just to add that evasion RNG. Kitty Clarissa gives her a little extra evasion. Again, same thing as a card. She evades combat. Oh, it's the same things. I was clicking on the wrong one. Kitty Clarissa, Getaway Meow, recovers health of the ally with the highest attack after getting. That's kind of good for PvE. Meow, I'm Angry has an 80% chance to restrict the target for 2 turns. So this is her S2 AoE attack. And Meow, I'm Angry decreases combat readiness of the target by 20% after using Meow, I'm Angry. Meow, 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 meow. I don't know. I don't really use Kitty Clarissa, so I don't know which one you should use. The fact that it grants more effect resistance, she was already one of the easiest effect resistance heroes to build because of Strat Gauntlet. But yeah, just use whatever you want, I guess. I mean, because Restrict doesn't apply in all situations if they don't have CR push. I guess this one always applies, and the S1 one always applies, but I'm granting it doesn't heal that much. So we shall see. That's all the exclusive equipment. Next season, Epic Skin, Judge Kisei. I mean, Judge Kisei is a fan favorite, but she's certainly not a meta hero, not even that great at cleave anymore. I mean, she's fine at cleave, but there's just so much politics now. So strange that they picked this hero as the epic skin instead of like an actual meta hero that will show up often. Because no one will see the skin in RTA, right? Because you can almost never draft her. But whatever, I have Judge Kisei, so it's cool. Ambition season is starting soon. Let's look at the frames. I'm glad I got Legend last season. I don't think I'm a fan of these frames, actually. The Legend and the Oh, no, this is the Emperor frame now, right? The Legend and the Emperor frame look barely different at all. Actually, all three of these frames look barely different. I guess the Legend one, is it the same as the Emperor frame with just having sparkles? Is that literally the only difference? I think so, and it has a little red thing here. Oh, it has a red little things around it, and the Emperor one doesn't. Okay, well, it's cool that they're. I love that they created the Emperor tier finally, because having like 2,000 points between champion and legend and no way to recognize the players that were like high champion was bogus. But now I think the seasons might get more competitive because people will want to go for Emperor now, kind of show that they're much better than the average champion player. Great idea. Not a huge fan of the frames, but that's fine. Maybe they'll look better in game. Lilibet, I'll do a should you pull on that later. And now let's talk about Revolver Ocelot. Let's see his intro here. You guys can watch this on your own, actually. Why can't I? There we go. So he is a dark thief, decently fast, but not crazy fast. High crit chance. Okay, so clearly some kind of DPS unit. Effectiveness, imprint release, and self crit hit chance. So your extra Charles will come in handy. We're starting with his S2. Sorry about me clicking randomly, guys. It's just the video so long. It's an hour and 10-minute video, so it's hard to click around. After an ally accepts the caster tax, if the enemy's health is less than 30%, increase combat readiness of the caster by 35% and grants perception. That's the violet thing for 2 turns. Increase crit chance and crit damage. So that's weird. Basically, if the enemy's health is lower than 30% and someone on your team takes a turn, you take another turn. So, wait, the other team's going first? So Opsig goes. Oh, okay, so ML Ken's going to counter bring Opsig below 30%, and then ML Charles is going to cut. Interesting. So I guess he has this. That's a big CR push, too. So I guess that's going to synergize with this kit in some way. S3. Attacks all enemies after descending, increasing attack of all allies. Oh, so a full team attack buff and a full team CR push, and he gives himself evasion to get some survivability. So that's pretty good. Let's look at this animation. Revolver Ocelot jumps in the sky. Um, that was okay damage. I mean, this is a very squishy team, though, so I'm guessing it doesn't have particularly high multis, and it didn't look like he was built all that fast. So, probably not a cleaver. The animation looks kind of crappy, too. And maybe not the worst. Like, what is that blurry thing? Like, it just looks blurry, that red blob. Not my favorite animation, but that's okay. S1 sharply cuts the enemy when used on a caster's turn. If the caster is granted perception, uses demolition instead of elimination. Tax enemies of. Oh, okay, so it's like regular Charles. It's going to use the S1, and if he has perception, it'll use his S2. So this is his normal S1. Holy cow, that actually hit really hard. Wow, so maybe most of his damage comes from his S1 and S2. Like his S3 didn't seem to hit that hard. I mean, granted, he probably didn't have an attack buff there. I'm too lazy to go back. I'm assuming it's afterwards that it does the buff. Look at that's definitely Revolver Ocelot. So I know Charles. I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on it. Like I do try to give you guys honest opinions. Team-wide attack buff and CR push is pretty great for an initiator, but he's kind of slow. He's like the reverse of Opsig, because Opsig would push them back and attack boost, right? But she's slightly faster, so maybe you can use him as some kind of speed initiator. Can you try building him tanky? Because his S1 multi seem to be very high. I don't know. I can't even wrap my head around how you would use this hero because I have to think of situations where that S2 passive really applies, right? Being able to push himself when the enemy team is low. Like, what's a situation you can guarantee that? I don't know. So I definitely need to think about it more. His kit definitely doesn't seem as overwhelmingly good as some other heroes, but that's in tune with kind of SG's recent philosophy on ML5s, kind of make them underwhelming and buff them later if they think he's undertuned. I can't say particularly that I'm amazed by his current kit, but it is early to say. He will be coming on the next rotation with T-Cern, so I guess we'll find out. So anyways, I think that covers everything from this patch notes. Pretty crazy. We covered all the ReZero Heroes, ML Charles, all the 3-star units you could check out yourself. New exclusive equipment like Smilegate's hard at work. Looks like there's a bunch of new content. I'm very excited to do the ReZero pulls, especially now that I kind of watched the anime. I still need to finish it, but I kind of know what's going on. It actually is pretty decent. I can't say it's like amazing, but it's pretty decent, so solid. I would recommend it if you ran out of good anime to watch. And yeah, good luck on your summons, and hopefully you have enough resources. So thanks for watching. Till next time, boys. Peace out.